All right, welcome back for another episode in the Star Trek Rewatch. This is where you go watch the episode, then you come here and we talk about it. So we'll jump right into this one. This week we're doing Dagger of the Mind. This one was filmed in the middle of August in 1966. It was broadcast in October of 66. The writer for this episode was Shimon Winselberg. His name appears as S. Bar David in the credits. Director was Vincent McEverty. The composer was Alexander Courage, and the photographic effects were done by the Westheimer Company. The Enterprise is delivering supplies to Tantalus 5, a progressive penal colony directed by Dr. Tristan Adams, who's played by actor James Gregory. He was really diabolical in this episode. And then it says, let's see, a Tantalus inmate escapes to the starship and demands asylum. This is kind of a goofy setup, if you think about it, where it's really contrived because Kirk walks out of the room and then one of the transporter technicians walks out, so there's just one guy left. And then this dude crawls out of the crate and like karate chops him in the back of the neck. So conveniently he's left alone. So there are some like weird plot contrivances in this one. But he walks around, he steals a jumpsuit, and then he's subdued by Mr. Spock, where he's taken to sickbay and identified as Dr. Simon Van Gelder. And he's having trouble speaking. Every time he tries to say who he is, he's all like, and McCoy doesn't know what's going on. He's all like, does this dude, he doesn't have schizophrenia or doesn't have any type of thing that I can figure out. So what's happening here? So Van Gelder asked for asylum, and then using the Vulcan mind meld, which is the first episode where Spock uses this. Spock mind melds with Dr. Van Gelder. And Van Gelder here is played by Morgan Woodward. He really kind of steals the show in this one. He's got like the crazy eyes, and I don't know, his performance is just really great. Spock determines that Dr. Adams has turned the Tantalus penal colony into a chamber of horrors with his neural neutralizer device that's responsible for Van Gelder's incoherent state. Captain Kirk and psychiatrist Dr. Helen Noel, here played by actress Mariana Hill, probably well known for her role as Callie in High Plains Drifter with Clint Eastwood, where, she's the one that gets sexually assaulted by Clint Eastwood at the beginning of the movie, but I guess she gets sexually assaulted by Captain Kirk first in this episode. So, let's see. Captain Kirk and psychiatrist Dr. Helen Noel experienced Dr. Adams' sadistic theories firsthand until Kirk defeats the insane director and Adams perishes in his own machine. Dr. Van Gelder becomes the new director of Tantalus 5, where his first act is to destroy the neural neutralizer. All right. So, despite the plot contrivances and a lot of the things that happen in this one that are kind of goofy and out there, I do like this episode quite a bit. And I really don't have a lot to say about it, so I'm going to keep it short. I think for me, the thing that is most striking about this, we're talking about characters, right, is Captain Kirk. He gets tortured in this device. Dr. Van Gelder, or not Dr. Van Gelder, but Dr. Adams gets Captain Kirk in the chair, turns it up on him, and then basically programs him to, fall in love with Dr. Helen Noel. You've loved her forever. You can't live without her, all this stuff. And makes him basically implants false memories into him, and so Kirk gets tortured by this thing. And when Dr. Adams is in the chair, okay, and the power gets turned back on, because the power gets knocked out, and then it gets turned back on by Mr. Spock when he beams down through the shields on the planet, which are deactivated. Then Dr. Adams is alone, and he dies. Basically, the chair like empties his mind, and Kirk has compassion. Actually like feels for his tormentor. And that just goes to show you like that Kirk is not a vindictive character. He's a very heroic character, and he embodies a lot of ideals and virtues that I think are inspiring. And maybe that's why I've always looked up to this character, as a kid. Like when I was a little kid, like I really thought Captain Kirk was awesome. And to this day, I still think that Captain James T. Kirk is awesome and a great role model. He does have faults. He's got his faults, but we all do. But I think at the end of the day, he's a great character. They all are. Kirk, Spock, McCoy. Drawbacks on this episode: no Scotty, no Sulu. But overall, I like this one, and I think I'll end it there. Oh, kill count. Nobody dies in this episode from the Enterprise crew. We do get a couple of deaths from the penal colony. One dude gets his goose cooked when he gets kicked into the high voltage. Gets fried. Like Uncle Eddie said, if that cat had 9 lives, he just spent them all. So, yeah, he got burned up. Burnt slap up. So our kill count remains at 19. It's been at 19 for a while. We didn't have any deaths last week in Miri, so I'm not sure. Next week, we will be watching the Corbomite maneuver, which is one of my favorites. So go ahead and watch that one. We'll get some Cliff Howard action in that as a creepy child. But thanks for watching, and as always, have a wonderful day.